Welcome to the Morning Report, a production of fightbackmedia.com, the #1 source of urban conservative information in America.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. It's a happy Wednesday here. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Uh, you know, it's one of those things that we are in a world where it just never feels like it's going to stop. It's never going to feel like it's going to loosen up. Um, Vice President Kamala Harris is the 2024 Democrat nominee. It's time to do one thing her campaign has really avoided. And I mean, there's no other way to say that they haven't avoided it. It's interviews with the media. Now, which is really crazy because most of the media, most of the mainstream media is going to be friendly. And it's just going to be how she answers the questions, not how softball, underhand, slow pitch softball the questions are, like in the Steve Harvey thing, or the little meet and greet with a little Indian girl, right? Underhand softball questions where you get to smile, you get to giggle, and you get to laugh, and you get to seem personable and all that stuff. But it's really part of public life. It's undoubtedly part of being president of the United States. You have to answer questions, and you have to answer questions that you don't really want to answer, right? It's the medium from which presidents, both past and present, have used the bully pulpit. And now that means that now that you are standing on the pulpit and you can direct your message. Okay, so maybe it's not so much in the present tense as Joe Biden, has been Joe Biden, okay? And has not been that person. And I think that Kamala Harris thinks that she can do kind of the same thing, or her people think that she can do the same thing. I wonder. I wonder. Now, Politico reports the internal discussions within the Harris campaign of trying to find someone that the vice president can talk to make things more comical. They've been asking around, seeking counsel regarding who would bring up matters like why she's done a 180 degrees on everything on her YouGov page. The publication added that they are keeping Tim Walz in the stable because the campaign essentially doesn't know what their agenda is or what their policies are and all that kind of stuff. With getting into the race with a little over 100 days is the excuse that some people are using, that why Kamala Harris hasn't talked to anybody, why there has been no policy statement on the website, why. Well, the fact of the matter is, and I'm always that person who says, well, you knew the situation. You could have said no. You could have said no. You could have said, this is not a situation that sets me up for success. No, we're going to go to open. We're just going to have an open convention, and the chips will lie where they may. And then you can come back. If you wanted to come back in 4 years, you can come back in 4 years. So, but you said yes. So you knew the situation. So I don't want to hear about it's hard and there's only 100 days and everybody else had like a year and a half. Take a lot. I don't want to hear it. Now, here's some of the things from Politico. Harris campaign staff have been asking reporters who they think she should talk to. They've been asking reporters who they think that she should talk to. So behind the scenes, TV producers from big name anchors have been calling the campaign to pitch their talent as the person she has to do it with. So they've been taking auditions. From journalists. And I use that term so incredibly loosely, it's not even fun. They've been taking auditions. Harris has a light schedule after accepting the nomination last Thursday in Chicago. And several sources says that she's been using the time not just to prepare for her September 10th debate with Trump, but to map out a media strategy for the next few weeks. I said this to y'all, golly, in the middle of the Joe Biden campaign, everything you see from now on will be for public consumption. Everything else you see from here on is just a PR campaign. Plain and simple. Here's some of the questions that are rattling around the decision. Who should you send your pitch to? One source of intrigue concerns who in the Harris world would actually make this decision. Brian Fallon, the campaign senior advisor for communications, is generally considered the key person, but the interview has to be coordinated with the Harris's official office, where the communication director is Christian Allen. And here's where some of the drama is. Another source with the knowledge of the process said that Stephanie Cutter, a senior advisor for messaging and strategy, will have an outsized role as well. Campaign chair Jen O'Malley Dillon, a senior advisor, David Plouffe. You remember David Plouffe? David Plouffe's from the Obama administration. President Obama still got his finger in the mix. They represent a whole other camp. Maya Harris and Tony West, Harris's sister and brother-in-law, will weigh in on their own views. The political operatives on this list have a long-term relationships with TV network and major talent because they're all connected. We've been saying that for years. They're all connected. So what's the goal? The goal is that there's been considerable debate in the Harris world about the purpose and timing of the interview. The purpose and the timing. The purpose is to have the American people hear what you have to say about what your plans are for the American public and America on the world stage. That's what the purpose is. What could there possibly be any discussion of what the purpose is, right? The main narrative in the political press is that Harris needs to do a lengthy, serious interview with a brand name news anchor who will push her on issues. The fact of the matter is, none of the quote name brand news anchors are going to push her on a damn thing. That's what we know. None of them. Pick one. Write in the comments. Who's going to push her on the issues? Now, the only way that she gets pushed on issues is that she decides to do something incredibly bold and show up on Newsmax, which she's not going to do. It's just not going to happen. Okay. CNN, what? Don Lemon? I know he's not there anymore, but who on CNN is going to, quote, push her? Who on MSNBC? Lawrence O'Donnell? Who's going to push her on the issues? Who? Who are the name? So this is why this is all kind of crazy, because the fact of the matter is, if she gets the thing that could happen is that she gets on this interview and that she self-destructs herself, or she has got notes and she's got an earpiece and somebody and a teleprompter. So they're looking for the softest place for her to land, the absolute softest place to land. So they're going through all of this, again, it's why you have former Obama advisors like David Plouffe and David Axelrod saying that this candidacy is buoyed by irrational exuberance and media propaganda. So when David Axelrod said this whole thing is just hanging on by a ridiculous exuberance just because people are happy just because, and media propaganda. When David Axelrod says this, Harris is likely to stumble in the debates and in the interview. She is going to stumble in the debate. My advice to the Trump people is let her talk. She will eventually wrap the rope around her own neck. Smile, President Trump, just smile. Nod your head knowingly and speak truth. That's it. That's what you do. That's all you got to do. Sort of treat her the very same way that you treated Joe Biden. I'm telling you, you'll get the same result. But anyway, they go through all of this stuff. They go through all this crazy, outrageous stuff. And you know who they pick? You know who's going to be that big interview? Oprah's best friend, Gayle King, right? They go through all this and they're going to pick Gayle, and they pick Gayle King. So that's going to be her impactful, big, impactful interview, right? It's such a cluster. It's such a cluster. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to reach out a little later in the day. But I got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. And I got to get more coffee. So if you guys have any idea of what kind of coffee I should be drinking, please write that down in the comments. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye now.